Hello everyone, my name is Isaac. I make art and music under the name Mr. Mizu, but this video is a follow-up to some health issues that I've been having. Posted a couple other videos about this and just had some questions rolling in on the comments on those. So I'm going to follow up and answer a few questions and see if I can help some people out. So I got some notes here, a few things to talk about. So just to recap, what happened was about a year ago, I started breaking out in hives, or urticaria, as it's also known. It would start kicking in every night, right around the time I was about ready to go to bed. I would start getting outbreaks all along my rib cage and usually around my elbows and knees. And at first it was pretty mild, but it ramped up really quickly and it became very, very severe within a couple weeks. And at first I thought it was some sort of external allergy, like some concrete dust I had been exposed to. And once I ruled out all of those types of things, like it was something in my environment getting on my skin, like laundry detergent, soap, things like that, after I switched up enough things to rule all that out, I was digging in more online, doing more research, and realized that a lot of these things can be caused by digestive issues. And that made a lot of sense because I had been eating really poorly for a long time and way too many carbs and sugars, never really eating a salad or veggies, fruits, or anything like that. It was pretty much all just carbs and sugar and some meat and stuff like that. But so after 15-20 years of eating like that, it finally caught up to me. And I think what happened is I developed some digestive parasites. I probably had some sort of fungus or yeast, bacteria, maybe something like H. pylori or blastocillus or candida or something growing in my digestive tract. I never really figured out exactly what it was because it was really hard to get solid testing on this. At least with my insurance plan it was. So anyway, I basically just started treating it myself, and I basically started using food as medicine, taking sort of an Ayurvedic approach. And it was maybe about 3 weeks after it kicked in that I started realizing I really needed to change my diet, and one way or another, even if that wasn't the case, I needed to change my diet. So I started doing that, and at first nothing really seemed to be changing. I tried a bunch of different diets that were recommended for this sort of thing, and it actually started getting worse. And I started taking supplements and all sorts of other things, and it was actually just getting worse and worse. But eventually what I did that really worked well is juice fasting. All in 1 week, I watched this movie called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I'll put a link to it below. And I had two really interesting conversations with female friends of mine, one of whom had been through something very similar, and another one who's just a very wise older woman who has seen quite a bit in her life. And they both said, oh yeah, you've probably got some digestive issues, you should try juice fasting. So I basically did juicing with 90% vegetable juice, mostly celery, carrots, cucumbers, things like that, a little bit of apples and fruits and things thrown in there. And I did that entirely I weaned myself into it. I went easy at first, and then I went all at once. I remember it was January 13th of this year of 2021 where I went full blast on the juice fasting, and I went from having incredibly severe hives to no hives within, I think, 3 days, I'm gonna say. And so I did the hard juice fasting for 5 full days. And then when I went back on solid food, the hives slowly did start coming back, but it wasn't nearly as severe. So ever since then, I've been trying many different things, and the juice fasting has been a really strong part of it. I keep going on cyclical juice fasting, like maybe once or twice a month. I'll do that really hard. But I've also just been using a lot of supplements and things like that, just anything designed to kill parasites in the digestive tract and clean it out, and mostly apple cider vinegar, garlic, turmeric, things like that. Pumpkin seeds are a really good one, I found out, because they have so much protein and such good fat in there, and basically no carbs. You definitely want to do a low sugar, low carb sort of diet with this sort of thing. And so yeah, pumpkin seeds. I started making a thing called gut punch. It was just kind of a recipe I came up with. It is turmeric, garlic, and ginger juice, lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, put some filtered water in with that, and then you may want to put some spices like black pepper, cinnamon, cloves, any sort of spices that are good for cleaning out the digestive tract. And I'll put a little description of that in a recipe of that in the description below. So also coconut oil is a really good one, oregano oil. So basically any sort of plants that have a really strong fungus or bacteria resistance. A lot of root plants have these naturally, so you can use them as medicine for sure. Oh, and this is all just personal opinion. It's not medical advice. You know, just asterisk. You know, put that in there. So you know, it's just all pure opinion. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. Just all pure opinion. Like it obviously didn't work. I mean, obviously it did, but anyway, that was my big frustration about all of this, is that I went to a bunch of different doctors and nurses and stuff, and some of them were on board with the idea that it could be a digestive issue, but most of them were just saying, oh, you must have an autoimmune disorder. It must just be an autoimmune disorder. It must be genetic, right? Well, then how come the fasting works? How come every time I treat it as if it's a digestive thing, I get ahead of it? It doesn't really make sense. So anyway, for now, I've had basically no symptoms for a good while now. It's been, I'd say, about a month since I had any issues here, and even through most of the summer here, I was fine. I have had setbacks and whatnot. There was one time, like right at the end of June, it came back pretty bad, and so I just did all the same stuff that works: the juice fasting, the apple cider vinegar and stuff, and it's been fine since then. So basically, yeah, it was all food and whatnot. And I'm fully of the opinion that all these types of skin inflammation, like eczema, rosacea, severe acne, whatever else you have there, it's all digestive, in my opinion, unless there's something really obvious getting on your skin causing it. It easily just could be toxins in the blood coming through the digestive tract. A lot of people call it leaky gut or intestinal permeability. And the funny thing is that you can find some doctors who will say, oh, that's impossible. There's no such thing as leaky gut. Well, then what happens if the digestive tract gets damaged? Like, is it invincible? There's nothing you could do that could possibly damage the digestive tract and let toxins get through into the blood. So yeah, when you have toxins get into the blood, the immune system does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it deals with that. And one of the ways it deals with it is inflammation. It's not pleasant, but it's basically a warning sign that something's wrong. And inflammation can have lots of different effects. I was even having severe, well, not severe, but starting to develop arthritis when this was happening. There were mornings I would wake up and my elbows would be locked up, and I thought, whoa, that's really bizarre. It hurts to move my elbows. And I realized I'm basically developing the beginnings of arthritis from all of this because of the inflammation in my body. But as soon as I would do all the things necessary to clear it out, the juice fasting and whatnot, it went away pretty quickly. So Anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the matter. My my personal opinion on what works and what doesn't. But if you need immediate relief, you can't. Benadryl's fine. I was taking Benadryl on a pretty regular basis. Whenever I would feel the hives kicking in, I would take that. They did come out with this new thing called Allegra Hives. It's called fexofenadine, I believe is the exact chemical. Maybe it's not that new. Maybe it's just kind of rebranded or something. But it kind of makes me wonder how many other people are having this issue that they came out with that. And I did take a few rounds of nystatin, and that seemed to help because that is targeting yeast and funguses in the digestive tract, which is another reason I think that's what it was. But convincing the doctors to give me nystatin was a nightmare. It was almost worthless. And then as soon as I was off the nystatin, the problem would just come back. So I think the natural plant medicines are actually stronger, like ginger, garlic, and turmeric are actually stronger and faster than that. And celery juice, that's another really good anti-inflammatory thing. Also clears out the digestive tract very well. Aloe vera, don't drink alcohol, no caffeine. I know you see me thought I was drinking coffee. No, this is actually dandelion coffee, which is another thing that has helped out a lot. So yeah, minimal caffeine, sugar, anything like that. No energy drinks, none of that anymore. But yeah, the other odd thing was with all the doctors I saw, none of them asked me anything about what I was eating. They just didn't care. It was just kind of like, oh, what's your symptoms? Oh, urticaria. Okay, we'll give you prednisone. We'll give you a steroid. See how that does. That doesn't fix the issue. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the matter. Obviously, I'm kind of skeptical and cynical of the medical industry after being through all this because they weren't much help. So I always promised myself if I did get through this, I would try to do whatever I could to help other people through it. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you.